Today I am going to explain about clauses. Okay? What do you mean by clauses? Very important. Now in this clauses, how many? What is a clause? First you have to know very well. Okay? What is clause? What is a clause? You just tell me. A clause is a group of words and that has a subject and predicate. Very easy. A clause is, okay, a clause. A clause is a group of, are you getting? Is a group. A clause is a group of words. Of words, okay? That has a subject and predicate. That has a subject and predicate. And a predicate, okay? Predicate. Now this is a clause. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. You please learn this. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. First you have to know. Children are getting confusion. What are simple, what is compound sentence, what is complex sentence. They don't know anything. By learning it, clauses, first you have to know the meaning of clause. And then you will come to know what is simple sentence, complex sentence, compound sentence, compound complex sentence. That you, afterward you come to know. But first you have to learn it. What is a clause? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and predicate. This is given. Now, you have to know what are the kinds, how many kinds, what are the kinds of clauses, kind of clauses. You understood? Kinds of clauses. There are two kinds of clauses. Getting my point? Kinds of clauses. Now there are two kinds of clauses. Now first you have to write it clauses. First it is independent clause, okay? Independent or main clause. Very important. Main clause. Now second it is and. Dependent. Very important. Dependent or subordinate clause. Or subordinate clause. I'll write it here. You have to know this. Now before knowing what is a clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. Now kinds of clauses you have to learn: independent or a main clause, or dependent or subordinate clause. Now you have to know what is the meaning of independent clause. Independent clause. It seems very easy, but try to understand the concept. An independent clause. See now, an independent clause is a group of words. What it is? An independent clause. Okay? An independent clause is a group of, very important, group of. Independent clause is a group of words. Okay? It's a group of words. What? That has a subject and a predicate. Very important. That has a subject and a predicate. This is very important to learn. What is a clause? How many kinds, how many types of clauses that you have to know. That is an independent or a main clause, dependent or a subordinate clause. Now you have to know what is the meaning of independent clause. An independent clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. Now I'm giving you one example here. The policeman, listener, the policeman, okay, the policeman blew his whistle, blew his whistle. Are you getting? The policeman blew his whistle and the car stopped. Now this sentence you have to write in a simple way. You don't know. But before that, understanding this sentence, you have to know in this sentence there are two independent clauses given. Here, first independent clause is here the policeman blew his whistle. Okay? Blew his whistle. This is the first one. Getting my point? Now you have to know the second independent clause. See here, the second independent clause. The first independent clause is the policeman blew his whistle. Now second, and the car stopped. And so here only you have to write second independent clause is the car stopped. The car stopped. Are you getting? The car stopped. This is an independent clause. Before learning and writing that sentence, now here, the policeman blew his whistle and the car stopped and is what? And is conjunction, okay? And is conjunction. Now by omitting this conjunction, you have to write a simple sentence. How you are going to omit it? Because you have to know the clauses could be written as two separate simple sentences by omitting conjunction and. The conjunction and does not belong to either an independent clause. It simply brings two independent clauses together into one sentence. You listen it carefully. And why? Again, I'm telling you, these clauses could be written as two separate simple sentences by omitting the conjunction, and the conjunction here is given and. The conjunction and does not belong to either an independent clause or either independent clause. It simply brings the two independent clauses together into one sentence. Are you getting my point? After learning this, knowing this, you have to first know what is subordinate clause. Okay? You have to know what is subordinate clause. Very important. Subordinate clause. Very important. Now, subordinate clause is a group of words. What we'll write? A subordinate. A subordinate clause is a subordinate clause is a group of words. Are you getting my point? Group of words. Very important. Group of words that has a subject that has a subject, okay, that has a subject and a predicate. What? And a predicate. Very important. You please take this in your mind, okay? Predicate. Now, very important this is. But such a clause cannot stand alone. Now, a subordinate clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. But such clause cannot stand alone. What? But such clause cannot stand alone. You are getting my point? Now, you have to write in a subordinate clause does not express a complete thought, okay? It depends upon the main clause for its meaning. Are you getting my point? The connective of or the word that introduce the subordinate clause that plays an important role in making it a dependent clause. Now this example, whatever that example I have given just now, the policeman blew his whistle and the car stopped. In simple way, you can write now here, the car stopped. Okay? The car stopped. You listen it. It is not write everything in detail over here. You listen what I am talking. The car stopped when the policeman, okay? When the policeman, okay? When the policeman blew his whistle. Blew his whistle. Meaning won't change. Meaning will be remain the same. But you have to write a simple sentence. The car stopped when the policeman blew his whistle. गाडी थांबली जेव्हा ट्रैफिक पुलिस ने सीटी वाजवली. गाड़ी रुक गई जब ट्रैफिक पुलिसमैन ने क्या किया? अपना विसल बजाया. Are you getting my point? Here in this above sentence, you just see now this sentence. Got it? In the above sentence, the group of words when the policeman, very important, blew his whistle. Are you getting? When the policeman blew his whistle, it is a subordinate clause. Are you getting? See here, when the policeman blew his whistle. Are you getting? See here. Blew his whistle. Now this is whistle. This is a subordinate clause. Are you getting? This is subordinate clause. Now this is a subordinate clause. Blew his whistle is a subordinate clause. It cannot stand alone, although it has both subject and predicate. Are you getting my point? It cannot stand alone, although it has a subject and a predicate. The word when, very important, which introduce the clause. Are you getting? When word. The when. This is a word when. The word when. What it is? It introduce the, here we have to, when the word, it is what? It introduce, yeah, it introduce the clause. Very important. The word when. It which introduce the clause. Okay? Which introduce the clause. Very important. Introduce the clause. Okay? Introduce the clause. Now, it makes the verse which follow it dependent on the main clause for the meaning. Are you getting? And that is the reason why the clause, when the policeman blew his whistle, is called a dependent or a subordinate clause. Very important. When the policeman, are you getting? Policeman blew his whistle. Okay? Now, when the policeman blew his whistle is called a dependent. Is called a dependent. Are you getting? Dependent or a subordinate clause. Are you getting my point? Subordinate clause. Very important. Okay? Now here, the group of word, the car stop. This is a group of word. The group of words. Here, the car stopped. Okay? The group of words that is an independent clause. Is an independent clause. Very important. Independent clause. Okay? The car stop. It able to stand alone? Yeah, it is able to stand alone. And it's a main clause in the sentence. The car stop. It's able to stand alone, and it's a main clause in this. It's a main clause in this sentence. Are you getting my point? Main clause. It's a main clause in the sentence because it states the main idea in the sentence. Because it states, now it states what? Main idea in the sentence. State main idea. Main idea in the sentence. Very important. You have to understood what is a main clause, what is independent clause, everything you have to know, what is subordinate clause, and after that you will come to know how you are going to this is. I'm winding this now. The clause and what is clause, independent clause, dependent clause. Then the one example, the policeman blew his whistle and the car stopped. Here the car stopped when the policeman blew his whistle. This is a perfect sentence, simple. So when the policeman blew his whistle, this is a subordinate clause. You understood? And which introduced the clause. But when the policeman blew his whistle is called again independent or subordinate. Now group of words that here car stop. Again car stop is independent clause and it is a main clause because it states, you understood? It states a main idea in the sentence. It states main idea in the sentence. Today this is enough for you. Please, what I have explained, open your book. Your grammar book is there for a 9th and 10th standard. Books are getting available anywhere in the market. You go to, you have, I think. Please, this is today enough. Thanks for my listening this explanation.